Hi, good morning, church. My name is Joe Temenak, and I'm going to be bringing devotion and sharing some thoughts on Psalm 142. And what I'd like to do is just go ahead and start out here. I'm going to actually refer back to Psalm 34 first. And just as a background, I know that there's a number of folks who have done a number of these devotionals in the Psalms as we're going through the 150 of them eventually. I did one devotional and it was Psalm 34, and it was a really powerful psalm. It really spoke to me. Interestingly enough, I have Psalm 142, and a little bit of the background about how they're connected is that Psalm 142, even though it comes after 34, obviously, in actual time, it happened prior to what was recorded or what we're told about that David wrote in Psalm 34. So I did some background on that, but very quickly, to set the scene, David finds out through a series of events with Saul and his son Jonathan. By the way, you can look at this. There's a parallel story that talks about this also in 1 Samuel 21 and 22 in that area. But David found out that Saul was trying to kill him, and he knew that for sure. So David was going to be a fugitive on the run from Saul. So he flees from Saul. He ends up at the priest in Nob and picks up Goliath's sword, which is where where it was deposited. This was long after he killed Goliath. He leaves there and goes to a place named Gath, and he pretends like he's losing his mind or he's crazy, because they recognize who he is, that he was this person who not that long ago was spoken about, that, Saul kills thousands, but David kills tens of thousands. He was smack dab in the middle of Philistia, so where Goliath was from. So anyway, he flees that place to a series of caves, and one of which is called the Cave of Adullam. And that's where it's thought by scholars that both of these Psalms take place, where they were written, Psalm 34 and Psalm 142. So again, I'm doing Psalm 142. So what I'd like to do first, that's the background. And I'm actually going to read you parts of Psalm 34. So it's kind of like telling someone the punchline to the joke before the joke, or the end of the story before the real story which precedes that. So I just want you to listen, and if you want to read along with me, I'm just going to take excerpts out of Psalm 34. And so here it is. David writes, "I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continuously be in my mouth. My soul will make its boast in the Lord. The humble will hear it and rejoice. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. How blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. The eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. The righteous cry, and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. And many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of all of them." So that actually is what David prays and writes. He's it's a different scenario, but that's the that's the punchline, so to speak. The actual first part, or the first part of the story, not the ending, is you have to go back or forward to Psalm 142 and now read Psalm 142. It's a very different atmosphere and thought process, and the way that David is feeling here. So this is Psalm 142. This happened prior to what I just read. So he had fled Saul, he went to Nob, he fled Gath, where the Philistines were, and now he's in this cave or series of caves alone, on the run, knowing that God had promised he would be king. He knew that already, through Samuel. And here's what David writes in Psalm 142. He writes, I cry aloud with my voice to the Lord. I make supplication with my voice to the Lord. I pour out my complaint before him. I declare my trouble before him. When my spirit was overwhelmed within me, you knew my path. In the way where I walk, they have hidden a trap for me, Lord. Look to the right and see, for there is no one who regards me. There's no escape for me. No one cares for my soul. I cried out to you, O Lord. I said, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Give heed to my cry, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, Lord, for they are too strong for me. Bring my soul out of prison, so that I may give thanks to your name. The righteous will surround me, for you will deal bountifully with me. So that last part, it's almost a prophetic word that David is pronouncing, whether he knew about it for himself or not. But again, we don't know the time frame, but shortly after this time, when he's saying, no one regards me. I'm in prison. My persecutors are too strong for me. My soul is in prison. He says, the righteous will surround me, and you will deal bountifully with me. So somewhere between this and Psalm 142, the Lord does deal bountifully with him, where, again, what I read from Psalm 34, you can see that he's saying that he sought the Lord and he answered him. He delivered him from all his fears. He cried to the Lord and he saved him out of his troubles. Taste and see how good the Lord is. How blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. And all the other things, his eyes are toward the righteous. The Lord's ears are open to their cry. It doesn't sound really through most of Psalm 142 that David knew that or believed that really. But something happens to him, and I want to say that I think the Lord really touched him or ministered to him in ways and brought him to a point where he knew these things in his heart. And in the meantime, again, after Psalm 142 and before Psalm 34, the 400, quote, mighty men of David actually come and follow him and give their allegiance to David. So again, these were not like men of good reputation. They were men who were desperate. They owed money, destitute, etc. Some of David's family also, but he had all these people coming to him, and somewhere in between Psalm 142 and then later Psalm 34, he learns and he actually starts to teach and preach and kind of evangelize these other men who came to align themselves with him, telling them, let's magnify the Lord together. This is who the Lord is. Taste and see how good the Lord is. He is with the brokenhearted. So this is a David in Psalm 34 who clearly has experienced the Lord. and his loving kindness, his goodness, knowing the Lord as a refuge. Um, so I really felt like that was something that stuck out to me, just the connection between Psalm 142, which is what I'm covering today, but also what I happened to cover before in earlier devotion of Psalm 34. And what I want to bring you, one item is that um, it shows that the Lord did answer David's cry, and that bit of prophetic word at the end that he says, um, he asked the Lord to bring his soul out of prison. He felt incarcerated in a deep way, and he says, "The righteous will surround me." So those are those other men that are spoken about who came and aligned themselves with him, and that, Lord, you will deal bountifully with me. Um, so the last that's it. And then the second thing that I wanted to say, and it'll be the last thing, is that um, I feel like that's it. This is a good instruction, let's say, and the instruction is that we might be in a place that is very dark or feels like prison, feels like the odds are completely in not in our favor. We really have no escape. We're really low. We're really beaten down, etc. Um, but nonetheless, David teaches us to cry out to God, claim Him, say the truth out loud. He is your refuge, that He's your portion. Um, what the Lord does to David, I believe He can do today as well for us, and that is bring us to a point like David was after this, where he brought others around him. He did restore him to such a point and such a depth where David was teaching these other men who are didn't probably know this to the degree David did, yet he was saying, let's bless the Lord together and praise continuously. Let's magnify the Lord together, etc. And he's telling them, he's preaching to them, saying, you know, I cried to the Lord. I was in a dark place, and He saved me out of all of my troubles. Taste and see that the Lord is good. How blessed is the man who takes refuge in Him. And so, church, that's the second thing. And my parting word for you is that for all of us, that the Lord, you can taste and see the Lord. You can experience the Lord's goodness, and you will see that He is good. Um, I want to go ahead and pray quickly and just ask the Lord to bless this word and the hearing of it. And I pray that for anyone, Lord, who feels in despair, they feel like their soul is in prison, they're knocked down, dragged out. Um, I ask you, Lord, to come minister to them, bring others around them, such that they will be able to cry out to you and say, I know that the Lord heard me. He ministered to me. And then, in addition, they would be able to proclaim and praise and give testimony to others. Hey, taste and see that the Lord is good. I cried out to Him, and He heard my voice. He answered my prayer. So I hope that blesses you, church, and have a great day. Bye-bye.